Listen to me, and I need you to hear this because if it hits you, it will change everything. Right now, in this very second, you are standing at a crossroads. On one side is the life you are living, the one that feels comfortable, predictable, and maybe a little disappointing. On the other side is the life you are capable of, the one that demands sacrifice, commitment, struggle, and relentless efforts. But the one that will make you proud, make you unstoppable, and make you finally feel like you are living for something bigger than yourself. And here's the hard truth. No one can cross that line for you. Nobody is going to hand it to you. Nobody is going to chase your dreams for you. The only person who can make the leap is you. I want you to feel this right now. Everything you've ever wanted, the respect, the power, the freedom, the success, the life you know deep down you were meant to live is waiting for you on the other side of fear, pain, and relentless action. But the problem is this. Most people never get there because they are waiting. They are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to believe in them, waiting for motivation to show up, waiting for excuses to disappear. And while they wait, life passes them by. Every day that you hesitate is a day someone else is building the life you could have had. Every second that you delay is an opportunity lost. Now, I need you to stop and look at yourself honestly. I mean, really look. Are you living with purpose or are you drifting through life? Are you chasing your goals with fire in your soul, or are you just talking about them while everyone else acts? Are you hungry for more, or are you comfortable with average? Because comfort is the enemy of greatness. Excuses are the chains holding you back from the life that is rightfully yours. And if you keep letting them run your life, I promise you, you will never be the person you were meant to become. But here's the truth that will flip everything. Greatness is available to you. It is there for anyone willing to fight for it. It doesn't matter where you come from, how many times you fail, or how impossible it feels right now. What matters is your decision, this moment, this second, to stop listening to the doubt, to stop running from the struggle, to stop giving your power away. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is simple: action, commitment, relentlessness, the willingness to endure pain, sacrifice, and setbacks, and still move forward every single day. So I need you to lock in right now. I need you to put everything else aside. I need you to feel the fire rising in your chest, the tension in your bones, the voice inside screaming that you were meant for more. This video, this message is not for people who are comfortable. It is not for people who want to sit back and wait. It is for those who are ready to commit, to struggle, to rise, and to claim their destiny. By the time we finish, you will not leave the same person who pressed play. You will see your life differently. You will feel differently. You will act differently. And I promise you this. If you absorb every word, if you take every lesson, if you let it burn inside of you, by the time this video ends, excuses will have no power over you. Fear will have no hold on you, and the life you've been dreaming about will no longer feel impossible. It will feel inevitable. So get ready. Pay attention. Lock in, because this is your moment. This is your time. And the life you've been waiting for is about to begin. Clarity is the foundation of everything in life. Without clarity, you are like a ship lost at sea, tossed by waves, at the mercy of the wind, at the mercy of the wind, hoping to reach some distant shore without a map or compass. The moment you set a goal, the first thing you need is clarity. You need to see it in your mind as vividly as if it were happening right now. This isn't about a vague idea or a general wish. It's about creating a crystal clear vision of what you want. You must define your goal with precision. If your goal is to be successful, then what does success look like? What does it feel like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Taste like? Sound like? You have to picture every detail so vividly that your mind begins to recognize it as reality. Because until your mind can see it clearly, until your heart can feel it, your body will hesitate, your actions will be inconsistent, and your dreams will remain distant illusions. Clarity is not just about knowing what you want. It's about knowing why you want it, how you want it, and who you will become in the process. Without this, you are wandering in the dark. Most people operate in life without clarity. They wake up, go through routines, and stumble through opportunities without a target. They complain about being stuck, about not having what they want, yet they haven't defined it. They don't know what they are aiming for. And as a result, they settle for mediocrity. The world will test you, throw distractions in your path, and present a million excuses to keep you small. But clarity is your weapon to cut through the noise. When you know exactly what you want, no excuse will survive. When you see your goal with perfect clarity, you can recognize every opportunity, every resource, every lesson, and every person that aligns with your vision. The world begins to conspire with you because you are no longer drifting. You are moving with purpose. Clarity transforms hesitation into action. When you are unclear, you procrastinate. You wait for the perfect moment that never comes. You let fear dictate your decisions, but clarity strips fear of its power. When you know what you want and you see it like it is right in front of you, you move differently. You take steps that others wouldn't dare take. You push yourself harder than you ever thought possible. Clarity gives you direction and energy because your mind no longer has to guess and your soul no longer has to wander. Every action you take becomes deliberate. Every decision is aligned with your ultimate purpose. You wake up each morning with focus, not confusion, with urgency, not delay. Clarity also gives you the ability to prioritize. Life will bombard you with distractions, with endless options, with countless opinions about what you should do. Without clarity, you will be pulled in every direction. You will spend your energy on things that don't matter, on things that won't move you towards your goal. But when your goal is crystal clear, you instinctively know what deserves your time, your energy, and your attention. You start to say no to anything that does not serve your vision. You stop wasting hours on social media, on trivial arguments, on temporary pleasures that steal your focus. You become ruthless with your choices because your clarity exposes what is irrelevant and what is essential. And when you operate with that kind of laser-focused discipline, the world bends in your favor. Opportunities that were invisible before now appear. Doors open and paths that seem impossible become reachable. Clarity also builds resilience. Obstacles will come. They always do. Challenges will appear and pain is inevitable. But when you are clear about your destination, failure no longer intimidates you. You see failure for what it truly is, a signal, a lesson, a stepping stone. When the goal is foggy, failure feels like the end of the road, a reason to quit. But when the goal is sharp, failure becomes data. It becomes feedback. You adjust, recalibrate, and keep moving forward. Every setback, every rejection, every obstacle becomes fuel because clarity gives you context. You know where you are going, and why it matters. And when you have that clarity, no force on earth can shake you. Many people confuse wishing with planning. They wish they could be wealthy. They wish they could be fit. They wish they could be fit. They wish they could live their dreams. But wishing is a foggy dream without clarity. Planning, vision, and action are born from clarity. You must define your goal so clearly that your mind believes it has already happened. You must see yourself achieving it, living it, breathing it, and walking in it daily. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Visualize it until your subconscious cannot tell the difference between a vision and reality. This is how dreams become goals and goals become achievements. Clarity is the bridge between imagination and reality. Without it, you are stuck in the realm of fantasy. Clarity is also a weapon against doubt. People will try to convince you that you can't do it. The world is full of voices telling you to settle, to accept less, to accept less, to accept less, to be realistic. But when you are clear about your goal, those voices lose their power. Doubt can only enter a mind that allows uncertainty. But when your goal is clear, you have a target in your sights, a reason in your heart, and a plan in your hands. You are no longer negotiating with fear. You are no longer bargaining with possibility. You are armed with clarity, and that weapon is sharper than any obstacle the world throws at you. Finally, clarity gives you urgency. Life is short, and time does not wait. Without clarity, you drift. With clarity, you chase. Every day becomes an opportunity to move closer. Every action, no matter how small, compounds. You no longer waste time on trivialities because you know what you are fighting for. Your energy becomes magnetic. Your focus becomes unstoppable. You begin to live intentionally and your life transforms. from ordinary to extraordinary. Clarity is not optional. It is essential. It is the difference between someone who talks about what they want and someone who gets it. It is the difference between regret and fulfillment, between mediocrity and greatness. When you understand this, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop letting fear dictate your life. You take control. You define your goal. You see it with perfect clarity. You live it in your mind before you live it in reality. And you execute relentlessly until it exists in your life. Clarity is not just a tool. It is your weapon to dominate life, to conquer your dreams, and to rise above anyone who doubts you, including yourself. So take a moment and ask yourself, do you see your goal clearly? Can you describe it in detail? Do you feel it in your bones? If not, you are wandering. If yes, you are armed and armed with clarity. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you from reaching the life you were meant to live. Clarity is your first step, your first victory, and your first weapon. Without it, all the rest is noise. With it, everything is possible. Writing down your goals is not just a step. It is the single most powerful act you can take to turn your thoughts into reality. So many people live their lives floating on ideas and dreams, believing that thinking about success is enough. They talk about it, wish for it, but hope without action is nothing more than empty noise. Writing your goal down is the moment you stop dreaming and start committing. It is the moment you take your desires off the clouds of imagination and place them on paper where they have weight, where they have form, where they become real. When you write it down, you are no longer asking for success. You are declaring it, demanding it, making it a contract with yourself. There is power in seeing your goal in black and white, in holding it in your own hands, in looking at it every day and reminding yourself that this is non-negotiable. Writing your goals down forces clarity and specificity. It forces you to define what exactly you want. Not in vague terms, but in concrete, measurable, tangible ways. I want to be successful is not enough. I want to increase my income by $10,000 in the next 6 months. It's specific. I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours this year. It's measurable. When you write it down, you force your mind to leave the fog of wishful thinking and step into the light of accountability. Your brain cannot ignore what it sees clearly in front of it every day. When your goal exists on paper, it becomes a target, a direction, a mission. Your subconscious begins to work relentlessly toward it, often without you realizing it. Every decision, every choice, every action starts aligning with the life you are defining on that page. There is a psychological power in the act of writing itself. When you commit ink to paper, something changes inside you. Thoughts that once floated in your head now take form. Your mind registers the goal differently. It goes from maybe to must. Your subconscious stops seeing it as a dream and starts seeing it as reality. The more detailed you're writing, the more alive it becomes. Describe not just what you want, but how it will feel when you get it. Describe the sights, the sounds, the emotions, the impact it will have on your life. When you write it with feeling, your mind starts experiencing it as if it is already happening. That is where action is born, not from wishing, not from hoping, but from a deep burning conviction that comes from seeing your success in your own handwriting. Writing your goals down also creates accountability. The world is full of distractions, full of people trying to pull you off course, full of circumstances designed to test your focus. When your goals exist only in your mind, it's easy to let them fade. It's easy to forget them, to rationalize, to delay, to let excuses creep in. But when they are written down, every glance, every review, every reminder becomes a call to action. It is a personal contract, a binding agreement with yourself that you will not settle, that you will not quit, that you will not allow excuses to dictate your life. And when you look at your goals each morning, the ones you have committed to on paper, you remember why you are here. You remember the fire that brought you to this moment, and you push forward relentlessly. Writing it down also creates clarity in your strategy. A goal without a plan is just a dream. When you write it down, it forces you to consider the steps, the milestones, the measures, and the deadlines. You begin to see the path forward. You see the obstacles that might come. You see the resources you need, the skills you must acquire, and the sacrifices you must make. Writing is a tool that transforms ambition into action. It creates structure where there was chaos, a map where there was confusion, and direction where there was wandering. The more you write, the more detailed your plan becomes and the more stoppable your pursuit grows. One of the most powerful aspects of writing your goals down is that it creates a habit of focus. Every time you revisit your written goals, you are training your mind to focus on what matters. You are teaching yourself to prioritize the actions that lead to results and to ignore the distractions that steal time and energy. Writing is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Review your goals each morning, each night, and let them saturate your mind. Let them define your day, your decisions, your work ethic, and your interactions. The more you feed your focus, the stronger it becomes. The more you anchor your goals in writing, the less room there is for doubt, hesitation, or delay. Writing it down also makes your goals tangible in a way that verbalizing or thinking about them cannot. The brain treats written words differently. Your eyes see them. Your mind records them. Your hand physically interacts with them. It's a multi-layered reinforcement that turns abstract concepts into real achievable objectives. And when you combine writing with visualization, with emotional intensity, with repetition, you create a force that is almost impossible to resist. The goal becomes a part of you. It becomes embedded in your identity. You stop asking whether you can achieve it, and you begin operating as if you are already on the path to achieving it. Too many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they never make it real. They think about it, dream about it, talk about it, but never commit in a concrete way. Writing it down changes everything. It separates the dreamers from the doers. It separates those who live life passively from those who grab it aggressively by the horns. It forces action. It forces discipline. It forces you to live intentionally, not reactively. Writing your goal down is the act of claiming it. It is the first tangible step toward transforming your life from what it is to what it could be. And to remember, writing your goals down is not a static process. Goals evolve. Life changes. Circumstances shift. But written goals allow you to revisit, to adjust, to refine, to grow without losing sight of the destination. They give you a reference point, a benchmark, a reminder of why you started and how far you have come. Each time you read your written goals, you recharge your commitment, refocus your energy, and reignite the fire within. This is the difference between a goal that fades and a goal that dominates your life until it becomes reality. So take a pen, take a notebook, take a piece of paper, write down your goals with intention, with emotion, with clarity, and with unshakable belief. Make it real, make it tangible, make it impossible to ignore. Write it down, because what you write, you will pursue. What you pursue with obsession, you will achieve. And once it is achieved, you will look back and realize that the single most powerful act in your journey was this one simple step, writing it down. Your life will never be the same once you commit ink to paper. It is no longer a thought. It is no longer a wish. It is a mission. It is a declaration. It is a promise. It is real. And when you make it real, you become unstoppable. Dreams without action are illusions. Big goals, enormous ambitions, massive visions, they can excite you, fuel your fire, and keep you awake at night. But if you do not break them down into actionable steps, they remain fantasies. You can think about being wealthy, being fit, being respected, being non-stable. But if your mind is clouded by the enormity of the goal, you will freeze. You will hesitate. You will procrastinate. The reason so many people fail to achieve what they dream of is that the goal is too big to comprehend, too distant to measure, and too overwhelming to start. That is why breaking it down into actionable steps is not just important. It is essential. It is the bridge between dreaming and doing. It is the engine that converts ambition into achievement. Breaking your goal into steps begins with understanding the end result in granular detail. You must know not only where you are going, but how to get there step by step. You can not climb a mountain by staring at its peak. and wishing you were there. You climb it one step at a time. The path is built by your hands, by your discipline, by your persistence. When you break it down, you begin to see the ladder you must climb. You identify milestones, checkpoints, measurable targets that give your journey structure. Every small action, every minor achievement, every tiny win becomes part of a larger victory. And when you operate this way, the impossible begins to feel possible because it is no longer a single unscalable mountain. It is a series of manageable steps, a process that you can dominate if you commit relentlessly. Many people fail because they approach goals with a big leap mentality. They want instant success. They want immediate results. They underestimate the process. But breaking your goal into actionable steps forces patience and precision. It forces you to respect the journey while keeping your eyes on the prize. When you know the first step, you take it with confidence. When you know the second step, you execute it without hesitation. Each step is a building block. Each step compounds into momentum. You begin to see progress. And with progress comes motivation. And with motivation comes unstoppable energy. Momentum is born from consistent, deliberate steps, not sporadic bursts of effort. And once you taste that momentum, nothing in the world can stop you. Actionable steps are also a weapon against overwhelm. The bigger the goal, the more your mind wants to freeze. It wants to escape. It wants to find comfort. But when you define small, specific actions that you can take today, tomorrow, and the next day, you remove the fear of the unknown. You remove the paralyzing weight of thinking about everything at once. Instead, you replace chaos with clarity. You replace anxiety with focus. You replace excuses with execution. Each step becomes a promise to yourself, a commitment to keep moving. And movement, no matter how small, is the antidote to stagnation. Breaking it down also allows for accountability. When your goal is a massive amorphous idea floating in your head, it is easy to ignore. It is easy to rationalize, to delay, to hope for a miracle. But when you have a list of steps, when you have a plan, when you have deadlines, your actions or lack thereof become visible. You cannot hide from them. You cannot lie to yourself. Every day becomes a test. Every action becomes a measure of your commitment. And when you face yourself honestly, when you confront whether or not you are taking the steps, you either rise or you remain small. This is how champions are made, not from talent alone, not from luck, but from relentless execution of what must be done, step by step, day by day. It is also critical to understand that actionable steps are not optional. Steps are not optional. They are mandatory. Every goal, no matter how large, is achieved through a series of deliberate, consistent actions. You cannot wish your way to results. You cannot rely on motivation alone. Motivation is temporary, fleeting, unreliable. Action is permanent. Action is measurable. Action, it produces results. And when you break your goal into steps, you are essentially creating a map that guides you even when motivation falters. You have a system, a structure, a framework that ensures you continue moving forward, even when the path gets hard, even when you feel exhausted, even when the world is trying to pull you off course. Breaking your goal into actionable steps also teaches discipline. Discipline is forged in repetition, in consistency, in doing the work that others avoid. It is forged in taking the steps, even when you do not feel like it. It is forged in commitment, in the knowledge that each small action is a brick in the foundation of your future success. When you commit to the process, when you honor the steps, you develop habits that align with greatness. You train your mind to focus on execution rather than distraction. You train your body to move forward, even in discomfort. You train your soul to embrace struggle as part of growth. And when you do this day after day, week after week, month after month, the mountain that once seemed impossible becomes a summit you stand upon proudly, knowing every step you took was intentional, purposeful, and unrelenting. Every actionable step must also be measurable. You must know if you are making progress or if you are stalling. A step without measurement is blind. You cannot improve what you cannot track. Measure your efforts. Track your results. Adjust when necessary. Learn from failure and iterate. Every step is an experiment, a test, a lesson, and a chance to refine your strategy. And when you measure, you create accountability, urgency, and clarity simultaneously. This is how you turn a dream into a goal into a plan, and a plan into a legacy. Breaking it down is also a psychological weapon. It changes how you perceive challenges. A massive, intimidating goal can feel paralyzing. But when you see it in steps, the same goal feels conquerable. You build confidence through completion of each step. Every small win is proof that you are capable, that you are progressing, that you are not a victim of circumstance. Momentum builds, belief grows, and soon you are operating at a level of confidence and competence that makes the naysayers irrelevant. You become unstoppable, not because the goal is easy, but because your strategy is precise, disciplined, and relentless. Finally, breaking it down allows you to celebrate progress. Each step completed is a victory. Each step taken is evidence that you are serious, committed, and moving forward. When you celebrate the small wins, your energy multiplies, your focus sharpens, and your resilience strengthens. You become addicted to progress. You become obsessed with the process. And when you combine obsession with execution, clarity, and purpose, nothing in the world can stand in your way. Oh, here's the truth. If you want to achieve greatness, you must stop thinking about goals as distant, vague, intimidating peaks. You must break them down. You must define the steps. You must take action consistently and relentlessly. You must measure, adjust, and persist. Big goals are achieved not by magic, not by luck, not by talent, but by methodical, deliberate action. Take the goal, break it down, attack it step by step, and watch as the impossible crumbles before your discipline. That is how dreams are conquered. That is how legacies are built. That is how you go from wishing to winning, from hoping to having, from dreaming to dominating. Commitment is the difference between someone who dreams and someone who achieves. Too many people float through life hoping for results without ever committing fully to the process, without ever deciding that no matter what, they will take the steps necessary to win. Commitment is not a suggestion. It is a declaration. It is the moment when you stop negotiating with yourself, when you stop letting fear, doubt, or comfort dictate your actions. And you say, I will do whatever it takes, no matter the cost, no matter the struggle, no matter the obstacles. Commitment is not casual. It is not convenient. It is not something you do only when you feel like it or when circumstances are perfect. Commitment is ruthless. It is unwavering. It is relentless. Without commitment, a goal is just a wish, a dream, a fantasy. With commitment, it becomes inevitable. Relentless commitment demands that you take ownership of your life. Excuses are the currency of the weak, the shield of the unprepared, and the comfort of those unwilling to face reality. When you commit, you stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck. You stop waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap. You stop wishing things were easier, simpler, or fairer. Excuses have no place in the life of someone who is committed. You recognize that obstacles are not reasons to quit. They are tests to sharpen your resolve. You understand that pain, struggle, and sacrifice are not punishments. They are prerequisites for greatness. You stop negotiating with reality and start taking control of it. Every excuse that once held you back becomes fuel for the fire that drives you forward. Commitment also demands consistency. You cannot commit one day and quit the next. You cannot commit when motivated and retreat when challenged. True commitment is visible in your daily actions. It is waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It is showing up even when no one is watching. It is doing the work others avoid. Pushing through fatigue, pushing through self-doubt. It is the relentless application of effort day in and day out, regardless of circumstance, emotion, or external validation. When you commit consistently, you build momentum. That momentum compounds. Each day of action stacks upon the last until the results that once felt impossible become inevitable. No excuses also means embracing sacrifice. Every goal worth achieving demands that you give up something in exchange. You may need to sacrifice comfort, entertainment, social approval, or immediate gratification. You may need to put in hours that others spend resting or complaining. You may need to endure pain, rejection, and discomfort. Commitment recognizes that nothing worth having comes without cost. It is the willingness to prioritize your future over temperature, to see the bigger picture, to endure the struggle. Glee, because you understand that every sacrifice brings you closer to the life you are destined to live. Without sacrifice, commitment is shallow. Without sacrifice, results are temporary. But when you commit and are willing to pay the price, success becomes your reward, and it is earned, unshakable, and undeniable. Commitment is also a mental battle. The mind is constantly seeking comfort, constantly rationalizing, constantly trying to find reasons to stop. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is that the committed person refuses to negotiate with their mind. They recognize the whispers of doubt, the pull of fear, the seduction of excuses for what they are, enemies of their own potential. Commitment trains your mind to operate beyond excuses, to act despite uncertainty, to push through discomfort, and to remain laser focused on the goal. Every time you refuse an excuse, every time you choose action over inaction, your mental strength grows, your confidence grows, your discipline grows, and eventually your mind aligns so completely with your purpose that excuses become irrelevant, fear becomes irrelevant, and the only option left is progress. Commitment also demands clarity of purpose. You cannot commit to something you do not understand, something you do not believe in, something that does not ignite a fire in your soul. Your goal must be so compelling, so essential, so non-negotiable that quitting is unthinkable. Commitment thrives on purpose. It thrives on the knowledge that what you are pursuing is not optional, but essential to your life, your future, and your legacy. When you tie your commitment to a deep, burning purpose, the energy you generate becomes unstoppable. The sacrifices feel lighter, the challenges feel smaller, and every step forward becomes a celebration of your unwavering dedication. Relentless commitment also requires adaptability. Committing does not mean blindly following a failing plan. Commitment means staying loyal to the goal, not to the method. Obstacles, setbacks, and failures are inevitable. Things will not always go according to plan, but a committed person does not abandon the goal. They adjust, pivot, and refine their approach. They persist through trial and error, learning from every mistake, growing stronger with every challenge. Commitment is flexible in execution, but unshakable in vision. It is the difference between quitting because the path is hard and conquering because the destination is worth every hardship. Another critical element of commitment is accountability. A true commitment forces you to confront your own failures and hold yourself responsible for every outcome. You cannot hide behind excuses. You cannot blame others, and you cannot negotiate with mediocrity. You must face yourself honestly. Every day is a test of your dedication. Every action or inaction, the evidence of whether you are truly committed. When you hold yourself accountable, excuses lose power. Rationalizations fall away. The truth becomes undeniable. Either you act or you remain stuck. Commitment demands that you act relentlessly until success is not only possible, but inevitable. Finally, relentless commitment transforms your identity. When you commit fully, you stop being a casual participant in life. You stop letting circumstances define you. You stop allowing fear, doubt, or comfort to dictate your actions. Commitment rewires your mindset, reshapes your habits, and redefines who you are. You become someone who takes control, someone who dominates the process, someone who refuses to quit. You become a person whose word to themselves is unbreakable, whose promise to their own potential is sacred. And when you operate from that level of commitment, the world has no choice but to respond. Doors open, opportunities appear, and the results you once dreamed of finally manifest because your commitment has made them inevitable. So ask yourself, are you committed? Are you committed relentlessly with no excuses, no compromises, no hesitation? Are you willing to endure pain, sacrifice comfort, push through fear, and take ownership of your results? If the answer is yes, then there is nothing that can stop you. If the answer is no, then the goal will remain just a dream, a wish, a possibility that fades with time. Relentless commitment is the difference between mediocrity and greatness, between failure and legacy, between wishing and winning. Commit fully, commit without compromise, commit with fire in your soul and resolve in your bones. Because when you do, success becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. Pain and sacrifice are the currency of greatness. If you want the life that others dream of, the success that others only whisper about, the respect and power that seem unattainable, you must first make friends with pain and learn to walk through sacrifice like it is your ally. The world will never hand you what you want on a silver platter. Comfort is the enemy of progress, and avoidance is the enemy of achievement. Every meaningful goal, every monumental dream, every life-changing vision demands that you endure. You will be tested. You will be challenged. You will feel exhausted, broken, frustrated, and overwhelmed. But those who embrace pain and sacrifice do not flinch. They do not complain. They do not make excuses. They push forward because they know that pain is temporary, but greatness is forever. Most people are afraid of sacrifice because they do not understand its power. They fear giving up the comfort of today for the results of tomorrow. They fear losing social approval, leisure time, and convenience. They fear the hard work, the long hours, the rejection, the discomfort. And so they settle for mediocrity. They choose the easy path, the path of least resistance, and wonder why their lives feel stagnant, their dreams unfulfilled. Sacrifice is not punishment. It is the price of freedom, the price of power, the price of the life you are destined to live. Every hour you spend grinding while others rest. Every dollar you invest while others waste. Every dollar you invest while others quit compounds into results that set you apart. Sacrifice separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the winners, the average from the exceptional. Pain is the teacher that few want to learn from. It is relentless, unforgiving, and uncomfortable. It challenges your patience, tests your resolve, and stretches you beyond what you thought possible. But pain is also the catalyst for growth. Every struggle forces you to adapt. Every failure teaches you what not to do next time. Every uncomfortable moment builds resilience. When you embrace pain, you stop running from it. You stop fearing it. You stop seeing it as a sign that you should quit. Instead, you see it as evidence that you are alive, that you are in the arena, that you are growing stronger. Pain is a compass. It points you toward what matters most, toward the work that others avoid, toward the sacrifice that leads to dominance. Embracing sacrifice means making hard choices. It means saying no to instant gratification in exchange for long-term results. It means prioritizing your dreams over comfort, your future over the present, your legacy over temporary pleasure. Sacrifice is about discipline, about consistency, about doing what must be done when it is hard, not when it is convenient. Every choice you make in the moment shapes your trajectory. Every sacrifice you accept builds your identity. When you choose to work while others rest, to endure rejection while off, us quit, to push past exhaustion while others give up, you are shaping a version of yourself that is unstoppable. Sacrifice is the forge where champions are made, where ordinary people are transformed into extraordinary achievers. Pain and sacrifice are not just physical, they are mental, emotional, and spiritual. You will face self-doubt, criticism, and moments when you question whether it is worth it. You will feel the weight of failure, the sting of rejection, and the frustration of slow progress. These are all part of the process. They are the training ground for resilience. The mind that can endure discomfort without surrendering becomes unbreakable. The soul that can endure sacrifice without despair becomes relentless. When you learn to embrace these forms of pain, when you make them your allies rather than your enemies, you develop a strength that cannot be taken from you. You become unstoppable because you no longer fear what others run from. Those who achieve extraordinary results are not lucky. They are willing to pay the price. They embrace the grind, the late nights, the early mornings, the relentless pursuit of excellence. They endure rejection, heartbreak, and setbacks because they understand that these are not obstacles. They're prerequisites. They see sacrifice as an investment. They see pain as a signal of progress. Every struggle becomes a building block. Every uncomfortable moment becomes a ladder to climb higher. They move through life with the understanding that nothing of value comes without cost, and they do not shy away from pain. Pain and sacrifice also create a filter. They separate the committed from the casual, the prepared from the unready, the warriors from the spectators. Most people quit when it gets hard. They retreat at the first sign of discomfort. They surrender when the road is rough. But when you embrace pain, when you accept sacrifice, you rise above the crowd. You become someone who thrives in adversity, someone who grows stronger under pressure, someone who sees struggle not as a barrier, but as a gateway. Pain tests your desire, sacrifice tests your commitment, and enduring both proves your readiness for success. There is also a transformative power in embracing sacrifice and pain. It shapes character. It molds discipline, focus, patience, and resilience. It teaches you that the things you want most are not given. They are earned. It reminds you that comfort is fleeting, but legacy is eternal. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, to push beyond your limits, and to evolve into a stronger version of yourself. Those who shy away from sacrifice remain trapped in mediocrity. Those who embrace it grow into excellence. The choices you make today, the sacrifices you accept, the pain you endure, define not only your results, but who you become in the process. Pain and sacrifice are also contagious in a sense that they build confidence. Every time you endure what others cannot, every time you push through when others quit, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You develop an unshakable belief in your abilities. You understand that the challenges you face are not insurmountable. They are opportunities to dominate. Each moment of pain you endure and each sacrifice you make strengthens your identity as someone who refuses to settle for less than greatness. And that identity becomes unstoppable because it is forged in fire, forged in struggle, forged in relentless pursuit of the extraordinary. So if you want greatness, if you want a life that others envy, you must stop avoiding discomfort. You must stop looking for shortcuts. You must embrace the grind, the pain, and the sacrifices required. You must train your mind to welcome struggle, to see hardship as progress, and to endure the discomfort that comes with growth. Every goal worth achieving will demand it. Every dream worth chasing will require it. And the sooner you accept that pain and sacrifice are not enemies, but allies, the sooner you will rise above mediocrity, crush obstacles, and live the life that you were destined to live. Pain and sacrifice are not just part of the journey. They define the journey. They are the indicators that you are moving in the right direction, that you are committed, that you are alive. When you embrace them fully, when you endure them relentlessly, you unlock the power within yourself that most people will never tap into. You become a person who refuses to quit, who refuses to settle, who refuses to allow discomfort to dictate your life. You become unstoppable. You become legendary. So ask yourself, are you willing to endure pain? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort, time, approval, and ease? Are you willing to face struggle head on and push forward anyway? If the answer is yes, then greatness is inevitable. If the answer is no, then mediocrity is certain. Embrace the pain. Accept the sacrifice. Make it your ally. Make it your weapon. Because through them, you will achieve everything others only dream of. And you will become the person you were always meant to be. Your mind is the battlefield where your victories are first won or lost. If you do not control it, the world will control it for you. And your dreams will remain out of reach. Visualization is the tool that allows you to dominate that battlefield before you even take action. It is the act of seeing your future so clearly that your subconscious begins to recognize it as inevitable. So clearly that your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin aligning with it naturally. Visualization is not daydreaming. Business. It is not passive thinking. It is a deliberate disciplined practice where you create your reality in your me. And before you create it in your life, those who achieve extraordinary success know this. The future is first experienced in the mind, and those who can see it with perfect clarity have a roadmap to make it real. When you visualize your future every day, you create a mental blueprint of the life you intend to live. You see not just the end goal, but the process, the actions, the milestones, and the habits that will get you there. You see yourself waking up early, working harder than anyone else, overcoming obstacles, making sacrifices, and moving relentlessly toward your dreams. You see yourself handling challenges with confidence, navigating setbacks with resilience, and executing strategies that others cannot even imagine. Your mind becomes accustomed to success before it even manifests in reality. You are rehearsing your victories, conditioning your brain to recognize opportunity, and preparing yourself to respond with precision when the moment to act arrives. Visualization is not about hope. It is about preparation. The power of visualization lies in its ability to train your subconscious. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. When you visualize yourself succeeding, you are sending signals to your mind that this is achievable, normal, and expected. Your subconscious begins to adjust your behavior, your decisions, and your habits to match that vision. You notice opportunities you would have ignored. You make choices aligned with your goal. You push harder because your mind is already accepted to success as inevitable. This is why champions, leaders, and highly successful people spend time every day visualizing, not as a luxury, but as a critical part of their strategy. Your future cannot be left to chance. It must be seen, rehearsed, and internalized. Visualization also strengthens belief. Many people fail because they do not believe in themselves. They doubt, they hesitate, they question their ability to achieve greatness. But when you visualize consistently, you train your mind to see yourself succeeding. You build conviction. You prove to yourself daily that your goal is not impossible, that it is within reach, and that it is a part of who you are becoming. Every time you mentally experience your success, you solidify the idea that you are capable. Doubt weakens, fear diminishes, and confidence grows. You stop asking if you can achieve it and begin acting as though you already have. This is the difference between someone who dreams and someone who dreams and someone who dominates. The act of daily visualization also cultivates focus. Life is full of distractions, competing priorities, and opportunities to stray from the path. Without a clear mental picture of your future, it is easy to drift, to waste energy on trivial things, and to succumb to the noise of the world. But when you visualize every day, your mind becomes a magnet for what truly matters. Every action, decision, and effort is filtered through the lens of your vision. You recognize what will move you closer and what will pull you away. Distractions lose power because your mind is already anchored in the life you are creating. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are designing it. Visualization makes you intentional, relentless, and unstoppable. Visualization is also a tool for resilience. Obstacles, setbacks, and failures are inevitable. But when you have vividly seen yourself overcoming them, they lose their intimidation. Your mind has already rehearsed the response. You have already imagined the victory that follows the struggle. This mental preparation allows you to endure challenges without breaking, to recover faster, and to keep moving forward when others would quit. You no longer fear the journey because your mind has already experienced success beyond the pain. Visualization gives you confidence not only in your goal, but in your ability to persist, adapt, and conquer no matter what comes your way. Consistency is critical in visualization. It is not a one-time exercise or a random thought that crosses your mind when convenient. Daily practice is what makes it powerful. The more you see it, the more detailed it becomes, the more real it feels, and the more your subconscious begins to act in alignment with that reality. Morning and night, take time to close your eyes and see yourself achieving. Feel the emotions of success, the pride, the joy, the satisfaction. Hear the reactions of others, sense the impact on your life, and immerse yourself fully in the experience. The brain begins to treat it as reality. And the more it feels real, the more you will take the necessary actions in the physical world to make it real. This is the secret that separates high achievers from everyone else. The ability to live in the reality of their future before it exists in the present. Visualization also sharpens creativity and problem solving. When you see your goal clearly, your mind begins working on solutions, even when you are not consciously aware of it. You start noticing opportunities, ideas, and strategies that others miss. You begin to innovate, to pivot, and to act with precision. Your vision acts as a guide, illuminating the path forward and revealing the steps needed to reach your goal. Obstacles become challenges to overcome, not reasons to quit. Every problem becomes a puzzle with a solution because your mind is focused on achieving the end result. Furthermore, visualization strengthens motivation. Thinking about your goal alone may inspire you temporarily, but when you visualize the life you want, the feeling of success becomes tangible. You feel it in your heart, in your gut, in your gut, in your gut, in your gut, your bones. That feeling drives action. That feeling keeps you working when others sleep. That feeling keeps you working when others sleep. That feeling fuels persistence when the journey is difficult, when the world doubts you, and when excuses of comfort and convenience try to pull you back. Visualization keeps your fire burning because you have already experienced the reward mentally, and now your actions are compelled to make it real. The most successful people in the world understand this principle. They see it before they do it. They rehearse their victories in the mind so vividly that their actions align perfectly with their vision. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, and innovators all use visualization as a core part of their daily routine. It is a discipline, a strategy, and a superpower. The difference between those who dream and those who dominate is not talent alone. It is the ability to see it clearly, to feel it deeply, and to move toward it relentlessly. So ask yourself, do you see your future every day? Do you see it so clearly that your mind, body, and soul are aligned with it? Do you feel the emotions of success before it happens so that when opportunity arises, you are prepared to execute with precision? Visualization is the weapon that trains your mind, ignites your belief, strengthens your focus, fuels your motivation, and builds resilience. Those who practice it relentlessly are unstoppable because they have already won the battle inside before it ever manifests outside. The life you dream of will not happen by accident, by luck, or by hope alone. It will happen because you see it, feel it, and act on it every day. Visualization is the blueprint. It is the rehearsal. It is the engine that turns thought into action, dreams into results, and potential into reality. When you visualize your future every day, you are no longer wishing for a better life. You are creating it. You are not waiting for opportunities. You are manifesting them. You are not dreaming. You are dominating. The journey to your goals is never straight. The path is never perfectly paved. It is full of unexpected twists, sudden obstacles, and challenges that test your resolve at every turn. No one achieves greatness without adapting, without learning, without pivoting when life demands it. Adjustment is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is the recognition that progress is not always linear, that the world is unpredictable, and that your success depends on your ability to respond rather than resist. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is an opportunity, and every obstacle is a signal that you must refine your approach, sharpen your strategy, and keep moving forward. The people who dominate life are not the ones who avoid difficulty. They are the ones who confront it, adapt to it, and persist beyond it. Adjustment begins with self-awareness. A dog fight. You must be brutally honest with yourself about what is working, what is failing, and what needs to change. Clinging to old habits, outdated strategies, or ineffective methods will only keep you stuck. Ability to pivot, to change course without losing sight of your ultimate goal is what separates those who stagnate from those who soar. Life will throw curveballs. You will encounter obstacles you never anticipated. You will face people who doubt you, situations that test you, and failures that could crush your spirit. Adjusting is how you survive the storm, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. It is the strategic recalibration that ensures you keep moving forward, even when the path seems blocked. Persistence is the engine that drives adjustment. Changing your approach means nothing if you quit the moment it gets hard. Persistence is the refusal to surrender to setbacks, to excuses, or to the voices in your head that tell you it is impossible. It is continuing to act, to work, and to fight, even when progress is slow, when the world is against you, and when it feels like nothing is happening. Persistence transforms the impossible into the inevitable because it compounds effort over time. Every day you refuse to quit. Every day you push when others would collapse. Every day you push when others would collapse. Every day you show up for yourself and your goals builds momentum, strengthens resilience, and brings you closer to victory. Persistence is not glamorous. It is often lonely. It is often painful. But it is the weapon that ensures dreams are not abandoned and potential is not wasted. Conquering is the ultimate result of adjustment and persistence. It is not enough to merely survive setbacks or endure challenges. You must take control, master the process, and assert your dominance over the obstacles that life places in your path. Conquering is a state of mind as much as it is a state of action. It is knowing that you will reach your goals, not because the road is easy, not because you have been free from difficulty, but because you have committed to adjust intelligently, persist relentlessly, and act decisively. All cooperating is the reward for those who refuse to quit, who refuse to let circumstances define them, and who take absolute responsibility for their results. Every obstacle you overcome is proof of your power. Every challenge you endure is evidence of your resilience. And every adjustment you make is a step closer to your inevitable success. Adjustment requires humility. You must recognize that you do not have all the answers and that failure is part of the process. Pride will keep you stuck, but humility allows you to learn, grow, and refine. It is the ability to say, this didn't work. What can I do differently? Rather than, I failed, therefore I quit. The world rewards those who learn faster than their competition, who can see opportunities in failure and who can pivot with precision when the path forward changes. Humility does not diminish your power. It enhances it by allowing you to remain flexible, strategic, and adaptable in pursuit of your ultimate goal. Every adjustment is a demonstration of your intelligence, your foresight, and your unwillingness to let temporary defeat dictate your destiny. It is easy to persist when you feel motivated, when results come quickly, and when the path is smooth. The true test of persistence comes when the days are long, the nights are dark, the progress is slow, and doubt creeps in. Persistence demands that you operate, even when you do not feel like it, even when the world is indifferent, and even when every fiber of your being wants to give up. It is the discipline to take action, regardless of emotion, circumstance, or fatigue. Every step forward, no matter how small, compounds in the results. Every hour of effort adds to the foundation of your ultimate success. Persistence is the shield that protects your dreams from the attacks of fear, distraction, and complacency. Conquering requires vision. You must never lose sight of the end goal. Even as you adjust and persist, the process will test you, stretch you, and demand sacrifices, but your vision keeps you focused, aligned, and driven. The clearer your vision, the more precise your adjustments, and the more relentless your persistence, the closer you move to mastery, achievement, and triumph. Conquering is not a single act. It is the culmination of countless decisions, actions, and choices made over time. It is the consistent execution of your plan, combined with the courage to adapt and the resilience to persist. It is the transformation of effort into results, struggle into strength, and VZ on into reality. Adjustment, persistence, and conquering also teach resilience. Life will hit you with challenges you cannot predict, setbacks you cannot avoid, and failures that seem unbearable. How you respond determines your outcome. Those who adjust intelligently, persist without compromise, and focus relentlessly on conquering develop a mental toughness that is unshakable. They learn that failure is not the end. It is feedback. They learn that obstacles are not roadblocks. They are opportunities. They learn that persistence is not optional. It is mandatory. And they develop a resilience that allows them to recover, rebuild, and dominate at a level most people never experience because they give up too soon. Adjustment teaches flexibility. Persistence teaches consistency. And conquering teaches mastery. Together, they form an unstoppable triad that ensures your goals are not just pursued, but achieved. You cannot control every circumstance. You cannot predict every challenge, but you can control how you respond. Adjustment allows you to navigate complexity. Persistence ensures you never quit. Conquering guarantees that you transform effort into undeniable results. This is the formula for those who refuse mediocrity, who refuse excuses, and who refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Every step, every action, every choice in this process builds momentum. The more you adjust intelligently, the more you persist relentlessly, the closer you get to conquering your goals. Momentum compounds, confidence grows, clarity sharpens, skill develops, and before you know it, the life you envisioned, the results you dreamed of, the success you committed to becomes your reality. The mountain that once seemed insurmountable is no longer intimidating. The obstacles that once felt overwhelming are now challenges you handle with skill and precision. You are no longer weight, aiming for permission, opportunity, or luck. You are executing, adapting, and conquering every day. So ask yourself, are you willing to adjust when necessary, persist when it gets hard, and take control until you conquer? Are you willing to learn from failure, endure hardship, and act relentlessly towards your vision? If the answer is yes, then nothing in the world can stop you. If the answer is no, you will remain stuck, watching others dominate what could have been yours. The difference between success and mediocrity, between dreams realized and dreams forgotten, is the willingness to adjust intelligently, persist relentlessly, and conquer decisively. Make that choice. Commit to that process and watch as the impossible bends before your relentless determination. Now listen to me. This is where it all comes together. You've heard about setting goals, breaking them down, committing relentlessly, embracing pain, visualizing your future, and adjusting through every challenge. But none of it matters if you don't act. You see, action is the bridge between talking and achieving, between dreaming and dominating. Your goals are not going to chase you. Your dreams are not going to wake up and accomplish themselves. The only way forward is through your sweat, your discipline, your focus, and your refusal to quit no matter what life throws at you. Every single moment you spend hesitating is a moment that someone else is using to get ahead, to climb, to win. And here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Excuses are useless. Complaining changes nothing. Waiting for the perfect time is a trap. A lie your mind tells you so you don't have to face the hard work that greatness demands. Right now, this second, you have a choice. You can stay where you are, comfortable, safe, and average, or you can rise. You can take that first step toward your future, that step that your dreams have been waiting for. No one else can do it for. No one else can take your place. Your success, your life, your legacy depends entirely on you and your willingness to act when everyone else is making excuses. And let me tell you this, it's not going to be easy. The journey is never easy. There will be days when your body wants to quit, when your mind whispers that it's impossible, when the world seems like it's against you. But here's the thing. Every champion, every legend, every person who has achieved what others thought they couldn't has faced that same fire. The difference is they refuse to run. They embrace the struggle. They endure the pain. They sacrifice comfort. And they push forward anyway. That is what separates those who dream from those who dominate. That is what separates the people who talk about their goals from the people who actually reach them. So I want you to see it, hear it, and feel it in this very moment. Your goals are not just ideas floating in your head. They are your future. They are your purpose. They are the reason you get up every morning and refuse to settle. Visualize them. Break them down. Commit with every ounce of your being. Embrace the pain.